Hey guys, what's up? It's Brent here and welcome to another episode of the SIC Show. And how are you feeling, buddy, today?
Man, I'm feeling like I'm being interviewed, bro.
And this week we've got a very special show for you. As you can see, I'm on the wrong side. This week we're interviewing Johny and he's going to tell us how he stays happy.
Yeah. And I'm also going to tell you guys how looking at your old images can improve your photography and show you how to keep things sorted with your file structure. You ready, man?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
The SIC Show. Share, inspire, create.com. Share.
All right, Johny. Share something that not many people know about you.
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, a lot of people do actually know this story. And if you've been following anything I do, you know I've got a new baby boy at home who's now 4 months old, OMG. Can I say that?
You can.
Anyway, actually, the story is more about happiness. It's more about happiness. And it just occurred to me the other day, well, maybe not the other day. I've had a dog, my German Shepherd, Tasha, for a while. And this will all tie back to my young bloke in a minute. But, you know, every time you come home, your dog, your cat, your pet, they're just happy to see you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what happened to them. They could have got run over by a car, or that's probably a bit extreme. But you know, it doesn't matter.
You might have forgotten to feed them.
Yeah, it doesn't
or pet
matter.
them.
It doesn't matter how they feel. Every time you come home, they're absolutely happy.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm getting that same exact happiness, that unconditional love and happiness from my young bloke. You know, he hasn't seen your day. You come home, first thing, big smiles, man.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
amazing, you know. So I got to say, something life-changing for me and a big deal in my life at the moment is the kids. You know, I love the 2 kids that I've acquired through my partner, which I love and adore. But having a new baby in the family too, man, it's changed my world. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it all ties together, you know, like, you know, happiness outside of your photography means that when you get your hands on that camera, man, it's just nothing's going to stop you from learning and creating. And it all ties together, man. It's amazing because I think last show, man, we talked about creative energy. And a part of that is being happy in the rest of your life, you know. So, I mean, yeah, it's the long story short, man, that unconditional love and happiness that you can get from a pet or your grandchildren or your children, man, if you can just use that and put that back out into the world, man, it's going to be a better place, bro.
And totally. And I think
amazing.
Happiness actually comes from within you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
No one can make you feel happy or sad. They can get you to think happiness and then you feel happy, but it's actually ultimately your decision to be happy.
It is. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But I tell you what, man, after a long day at work, coming home and seeing my young bloke's face or my dog jump up and give me a kiss, there's nothing better, man. It's the ultimate thing. So, I mean, it's not really something you don't know about me. Everyone knows, but it's just one part of the whole journey where I'm at the moment in my life that I'm just absolutely enjoying. And I wouldn't change a thing, man.
Awesome.
Epic.
Well, thanks for sharing, Johny.
Cheers, buddy.
Inspire.
Okay, buddy. Inspire us with something inspirational from Johnny's archives.
Oh, man. You know what? I went back, guys, and this is... we were looking for some images the other day, weren't we, buddy, for something, for a blog post we were writing, and I went back, like, right back on Facebook to back in the day, you know.
HDR stuff.
Easel. Oh, man, we've all tried it, man. This thing it looks like the only thing that's missing are the pixies and the fairies, dude. It looks like some sort of magical fairyland. I mean, check out this image, man. It's just like hyper-coloured. I mean, it's not a bad composition. There's a big tree, and it's the right time of day, but man, the processing, it just looks like some magical lollipop land. You just want to go and eat everything because it all looks like candy. But anyway, the point being is, this is such a powerful tool and it's such a way to inspire yourself, is have a look at some of your really early work, even if it was only 6 months ago, you know, or even if it was only 12 months ago. It doesn't matter. Whenever you picked up your camera, go back, look at some of that early work, and then get your most favorite image now and put them side by side.
Yeah, compare.
Yeah, and compare and just see where you've come from to where you are now. And man, it is so inspiring. You know, this image I'm going to show you guys now is of the Wanaka tree from New Zealand, and I've always wanted to photograph that tree. And the day we went there, when we were filming with Joe and Verena last year, I just got this shot, and every time I see it, it just puts the biggest smile on my face, because I just remember that time being there, man. But the point being is, get one of your first images that you may have thought, wow, man, this is just awesome. It's like my magical fairyland image with the tree.
HDR
edited to the max, man. Haloville.
Yeah.
But anyway, get the 2 images, put them beside each other and have a look where you've come from to where you are now with your favorite image, man. And man, it's so inspiring because you just remember the way you felt when you took that image. I mean, I remember taking that image, man. Yeah. Put it on Facebook and people are going, dude, that's epic, man. More like this, heaps of likes, and you're just thinking, yes. But you have a look now and it's like, wow.
And that's the thing with Facebook. I've noticed, a lot of photographers or wannabe photographers, or I guess photographers, if you can take a picture of a photographer, right? Put images onto Facebook and they get all this great feedback. What's like great, love it, but no one actually gives them constructive feedback on how they can actually improve that image. I saw one yesterday actually by a very well-known photographer, and we've tried to interview him. Hopefully we'll have her on the show one day. And I noticed something straight away from the thumbnail of the image that could have been improved. So I just looked through the comments to see if anyone actually said it.
Up, yeah.
No one said it.
No. And that's it. I know where you're going with this, buddy, because I totally agree. But do that thing I said. Get an old image, get a new image, one of your favourite ones, put them together, and that'll inspire you to remember the journey where you've come from and to push it forward. I recommend every 12 months doing exactly the same thing. And just do it.
And I think also, like on that same topic, is sometimes we are too critical of ourselves. So you might be editing images and shooting images, and it feels like to you that you're actually not improving.
Yeah,
because it's a steady, gradual thing. And that's a really good tip. You go back a year, go back 2 years, 3 years, or even 6 months, and then compare them, and you'll notice that there's definitely a transition in your photography.
And the other thing is, I like to leave that image out there, man, because it's just like, man, that's my journey. That was part of me at that time, And man, I got no qualms. No qualms. Is that a word, man?
I don't know.
Well, anyway,
it's a new word.
I like it. I got no dramas leaving that image out there on the web and people to find it, because man, that's part of where I was.
I've done the same thing.
It's all good. I would never get rid of my old images. I mean, I don't mind, man. That's where I was, and this is where I am now, man. It's part of the journey. So.
I've done the same thing with my video work.
Yeah, right.
So I left my very first video with talking to the camera like we are now. And I was so scared. It took me about 16 tries to get it right. I've left it on YouTube. It's really old. You have to search for it. But I left it there just to remind me of how I sucked when I first started. I mean, I did. And I've got the biggest fear about speaking in front of people.
It's amazing, yeah.
Speaking to a camera, that's for me, that was the biggest fear. I had all this coaching to try and get over it. And you leave it out there. So leave your old stuff, the bad stuff out there, guys, because when you have the good stuff and you compare it, you will feel good about your improvement.
And your journey. And it'll push you to even go further and try new techniques and really master your photography, man. Yeah. Hey, let's get back to the critiquing thing, because I believe in this. This is one thing, we do in the Share, Inspire, Create Lounge, and you guys have probably heard about this already. If you're not in there, why not, man? Get in there, man. We're in there every day. But look, the power of critiquing, especially from people, like-minded people like that you can trust. I mean, it's great to put an image up on Facebook and your brother goes, man, great image, love that.
But what are you learning?
But you don't learn anything. That's great, man.
And how's that going to improve your photography?
It's not, man. So when you put your image into a safe, controlled environment like the Share, Inspire, Create Lounge, and you have other photographers and professional photographers giving you feedback on your image, telling you the things that you're doing really, really well, and telling you a few tips of things that you could try to maybe improve that image, man, there is nothing more powerful out there than having other people look at your photography who really know what they're talking about. So that's the Share, Inspire, Create Lounge, man, and I love reading the critiques. Like sometimes, people post an image in the media gallery and they'll get feedback on that image without even asking for it. That's what I love, man. The community is just behind everyone, and they just want everyone to improve their photography together. So,
and we just actually received a private message from Keith. Remember? And he was talking about how we encouraged him to print an image large, really large, and he's never done it. Like I think it was something like 20 years of photography or something. The biggest he's ever printed was an 8x12. He printed something large, got it back. He was so impressed by what it looked like that he actually sent me and Johny a private message to say thanks for encouraging him. So that's part of putting your images into a place where people can give you positive, constructive feedback and encouragement. That's very, very important.
Yeah, cool, man. Good tips, bro. Good tips. So grab an old image, grab a new image, put them beside each other, and stick around to the end of the show because we'll have something special for you.
Yeah,
awesome.
Create.
All right, Johny.
All right, I want to give you guys and Brent because I know I've seen his storage system. So and the hard drives. How many are under this desk, man? Okay, so let's
show a couple.
So,
you don't want to see what's under this desk, guys. It's
actually I need to go and wash my hands. No, it's not that bad, really. But guys, I wanted to talk to you quickly about folder structure. Okay, I've got a screencast running here. We'll jump over to the laptop in a minute, but folder structure is the first place, the very first stop along your post-processing workflow where you keep things sorted. Okay, so this is the absolutely essential first thing you need to get right to make sure that your images are backed up and safe. And it's the first step along the journey of your post-processing workflow or image processing workflow. Okay, so let's jump over the screencast and I'll give you a quick example of what I do. Look, there's many variants on this and people have their own ideas. You've got to do something that works for you, but the main thing is you've got to stick to it. Okay, so the folder structure you choose, have a good think about it, have a look around the web because there are other thoughts on this, but this is how I do it. Okay, and I'll explain what I've done here. Yeah. So the key thing, the number one first thing is to have absolutely one folder that everything else sits under. Right. Okay, so, and why you have one folder, because if I want to back up my whole original images, I've got to move one folder. Okay. So every time I move that folder, I know that everything below that, where all the rest of my images sit, and however I nest those folders, in whatever order I have them, that one single image, one single folder, if I move that, I know I've got absolutely everything backed up. So that's the first step. That's the most crucial thing that you can do right now is create one folder and move all the rest of your folders into it so that you know when you back your images up that you're getting absolutely everything. You're not going to lose anything.
And that's called original images, right?
Well, I call it my original images. You can call it whatever you want, master images.
Okay.
This is the image I never want to lose, whatever you want to call it.
The folder, the most important folder.
Yeah, the most important folder in my life is this one.
It's recording.
All right, yeah, we're good going, man. All right, so let's jump over the screencast. So you can see I'm in my Finder here. If Finders, if you're on a Windows, don't stress. The Finder's the same thing as the browser, basically the folder browser file browser, is it?
File manager.
File manager. What he said. Like I don't use Windows, but yeah. So what is it? The same as that?
Windows Explorer.
Yeah, no, Windows
File
Explorer. Windows.
I forget.
Anyway, it's the same as that. All right, so let's jump over. So we've got the original images folder here, and underneath that, because I do a lot of landscape, I nest mine in countries. So countries I've travelled to and shot at. That's basically how I like to nest my folders. I mean, if you were, say, a wedding photographer or whatever, you might list it per client name, whatever you want to do. Anyway, so that's. But for me, this is how I do mine because I'm a landscape photographer, and this is what makes sense to me. Okay.
So for portrait. Like me, portrait photographers, I would probably go original images, portraits, weddings, commercial, events.
Yeah.
So everything's under the sub-genre where you want to go. So all my portraits are on one thing. Yeah. So I know if I want to back up portraits, I just drag that portrait folder across.
Yep. Okay. There you go. These the man. Cool. That's why he's here. All right. So you can see, guys, I've got countries, and this is what I do at this level. I have countries now. Yeah. Certain countries will be slightly different. Obviously I live in Australia. So in Australia, I had another level. Okay. So I'll have a state. Okay. And that just means because I, get around Australia to different parts of Australia more often, that's why I've got that extra level. But you can see in Hawaii, I've just got I've got three folders here. I'll just have the master images, Hawaii, and then one other folder structure for locations around Hawaii that I visited. And then I just put my images straight in there. Cool. Okay. So that's how I do like a country I travel to every now and then.
Yeah. So where's Turtle Island in Hawaii?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Turtles. But that's actually why I put turtles is because it may not be the location you're interested in. It might be the subject. Yeah. So at this location, and I was actually on Kona. The turtles was a very important part I remembered of that place, and if I want to look for an image,
Beach, right?
I can't remember the beach name, but it's a very important part of what I remember. Black Beach. I can't remember. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so that was an important part of the trip. Those turtles we photographed. Yeah. So I made a subfolder just called turtles because I know sometimes I'm just going to jump back to that turtles folder. I don't want to know. I might forget what location they're in, but I know they were turtles and I know they were in Hawaii. So that makes sense to me. Another thing you can do too, and think about this, is you can even label it for the type of photography. And what I mean by that is, say you've taken a heap of macro shots on a trip. Yep. You could have at this level, you could have macro images. Yep. So it's up to you what you do, but this is just a bit of an example of what I do.
Or you could go seascapes. You could. Landscapes.
Yep. You could go
mountains,
lakes. Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. Yep. but this is just gives you a bit of an idea of what I do, okay? So I want to go to the Australia folder because obviously I go here a fair bit.
Yeah.
And you can see under the Australia folder, I've broken it down into 3 other folders, okay? I've broken it down to 3 states that I've visited, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to Inside New South Wales. Inside New South Wales, I've got the 2 locations that I've been to in New South Wales. Obviously, I've been to more, but this is the 2 locations. This example, I've got Newcastle and Port Stephens. Okay, so I can either choose to at this level to either have in Newcastle and Port Stephens. I could even have another level. You know, my hometown is Port Stephens, and in my Port Stephens folder, because I shoot here so often, I actually have beach names. Because I'm obviously shooting at the beach, or I'm shooting at, Shoal Bay or Anna Bay. So I can even break that down again if I wanted to. Okay, so that's totally up to you what you do at this point. But sort of 4 is a good way to keep things
4
ordered.
deep,
4
nested.
nested folders deep is probably the maximum you want to go.
Yeah.
If you need to go one more, like I have in Port Stephens, because I shoot here so often and so regular, I wanted a bit more finer control over how I kept things sorted. I would add another level there, and that could be by suburb. In Port Stephens, Soldiers Point, Anna Bay, or it could be by beaches. Sometimes I've got Wreck Beach or a national park like Tomaree. So anyway, that's how I do it. Now I know some people at this level, at this original images up here, actually will give that a year. So some people might call that 2015 there. Okay. And then when 2016 comes, they'll start another file structure. And that's totally fine too. The reason why I don't use dates in my file names is because in Lightroom, and I'm pretty sure you can do this with Bridge as well, it's easy for me to filter out date ranges. So I can go to the Port Stephens folder and say, in the Port Stephens folder, show me everything from 2015. So I don't mind if I've got 5 years worth of images in there because I can easily sort through those, So putting date names into the folder structure is something that some people like to do, or they like to have a master images folder from a date, like from a year. But I don't do that. I have them all in one. And that's how I roll, man.
Awesome, man.
So it's this is just an example, guys, of how I do it. But it'll give you some ideas of starting places that you can start to define your folder structure. And what I'd say is stick with it. Whatever you choose up the front, stick with it, because if you start to change halfway through, then you're going to run into issues. Okay. So the other big thing about keeping things ordered, and I'll mention this now, man. I won't show you through it on the screencast, but is keywording, man. There's the 2 key things that you can do to keep your images sorted, man. One is your folder structure, and the second is keywording, man. Both really important.
But don't be lazy when you're importing.
Yeah, man.
Put in those keywords that are going to make a difference down the road when you're looking for images.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, I've done it before when I first started. There's still, there might be a couple of years from right at the beginning where I didn't do solid keywording, and finding those images,
tough.
It's tough, man. It's tough, man. So that's it, brother.
Thank you, man. That's really good tips there, Johnny. And just so you guys know, when I do my portraits, and I've actually got it in one of my courses, my kids course, I believe, is we actually put the dates at the front of the folder name. So I'll do, 2015. So I'll go 15, 06, 20.
Yeah.
The year, the month, and the day, so that it sorts alphabetically, so that the newest, or the old stuff's at the top, and the new stuff's
Whichever way you sort it, which is, it sort of makes sense. If you're doing client work, you're going to be producing, you might shoot 4 or 5 clients a week. So I mean,
we've done it in a day where you shoot 4 or 5 family portraits in one day.
Exactly.
And sorting stuff out, man, it becomes
so. And that might be a great place where you would start with the 2015 folder and then nest everything in 2015. If you've got a busy studio where you've got lots of clients, for me who might shoot once or twice a week, this type of folder structure is fine for a landscape photographer. Because often, I'll go out and I might take 10 images, but I'm sure you go to a shoot with one client.
Well, 360 images.
There you go. And you do a wedding.
Yeah. But then we got 360 images. Then we got the tagged images. Then we got the processed images.
Yep.
And then we got all the other files that go with it. So there's
Yeah, you really
it
need to
can
think
become
about
quite complex.
It can. But having a solid file structure that you stick to is just the core to keeping things ordered. Yeah, man, it is. And you know what? It makes it so much easier to back things up when you've got that solid file structure. You can easily, whether you've got an automated backup or a manual backup, it's just so much easier to check that everything's still there because it's all under one folder. So
definitely, guys. And just so you know, Johnny is the expert when it comes to that. Like we were traveling around New Zealand in a camper van, and we were shooting a lot of video and a lot of stills every single day. I mean, courses with Jay and Verena.
Gigabytes a day.
And Johnny he'd have his head down, sorting through stuff as we were driving. I was driving and he was sorting, just dragging videos into different folders, man. So he's got it. Like, I tried to do it initially, I got fired. Jane Brent said, Johnny, you do it from now on.
Yeah, that's it, man. Well, it's important, man.
Yeah.
You get home and you got one folder with all your videos and images. Like, it's like, man, I know.
Too hard.
And that comes back to my Lightroom Traveler course, man. I talk about, this is such an important part of when you're traveling is keeping things sorted.
Yeah.
Then you can come home and it makes the process of migrating, your Lightroom catalog that you use on the road to used on the road. Man, I need another coffee, bro. Used on the road back into your master catalog.
Yeah.
It makes it so much simpler, man. So,
definitely.
yeah, man, find a structure, keep it sorted, stick with it, and you guys will be sweet, man. It's the first step.
And it takes me back to that story originally that Johnny was talking about with the Wanaka tree. So we get down to this parking lot in New Zealand, and Johnny's got his head down sorting out files, right? And I jump out and I talk to Jay and Verena, and we're looking at the Wanaka tree over there. And then Johnny puts his head up. He goes, "That's my tree!" And he just drops everything, leaves his
iPads and laptops,
laptop, everything in the car, just grabs his camera bag and he just runs off.
Yeah, man.
All the doors are open and everything. I'm like, Johnny, where you go? There's my tree, I gotta go photograph it.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped. Yeah. Good, man.
Awesome.
All right, it's been another great show, brother. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, we'd love to hear your feedback. It's an essential part of, this show is hearing what you guys are thinking. And, man, check out this little special. We mentioned something before about the Share, Inspire, Create Lounge, and we have a little special for you. Check out the show notes. Yeah. Check out the show notes below. Yeah, click somewhere, and it'll be there. No, below this video, there'll be some show notes, or actually, it might be above, depending on where you're at.
Okay.
Anyway, like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, and check out the special we have for you. And we'd love to see you guys in the lounge. We're super passionate about this place. And, there's photographers just like you, mastering their photography in there every day. We're on the journey with them. And, man, I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah, we're in there every day, guys. So basically, you got free access to pro photographers.
It's like living next door to a pro.
Yeah.
Seriously.
There it is. Awesome.
Awesome, guys. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week.
See you next
week.
week.
Take it easy.
Bye.
To find out more, go to shareinspirecreate.com.
Hey guys, Brent here, and welcome to another episode of the Share, Inspire, Create show. And this week, how did I say it? And how are you, buddy? How are you feeling today?
Man, start again, bro.
Recording, interview Johnny, coming up, clap.
Dude, don't do that. Clap coming up.
Okay, clap.
Clap
coming up.
Clap coming up.
Okay. No, one.
Go. Okay, that was a bit silly.